The lapsation of two Catholics. My godson, we'll call him Raphael, that isn't his real name, lapsed from the Catholic faith a few years ago. This made me angry. Not with my godson, who is a delightful young man with a kind heart and incisive mind, but with the institutional Catholic Church, which has singularly failed him. He and his younger brother, Gabriel, we'll say, and elder sister, Rachael, now sadly dead due to a car crash, were brought up in a very Novus Ordo Catholic household and attended a very Novus Ordo Catholic church. The least said about both, the better. They attended what nowadays passes for a good Catholic school in the state sector and were exposed to the catechesis of the conservative faith movement. Gabriel is, if anything, even more intelligent than Raphael. He lapsed long ago. His basic reasons were: in all the time I've attended Catholic church and school, I've never heard anyone say anything which made much sense. Moreover, if the Catholic faith were true, it would make people happy. But it doesn't do this. Hence, it can't be true. Raphael still vaguely believes in God, or at least some kind of creative intelligence, and is still committed to an objective account of both epistemology and ethics. He seems to have fallen away from the church for the following reasons. 1. His religion was never really personal, but mostly a matter of external observance. 2. The catechesis and formation he received never had any spiritual depth. 3. He found that, apart from me, every Catholic he met seemed not to be in any way a better person because of the practice of their religion, but rather that Catholicism tended to make people worse. 4. Raphael thinks that religion tends to bring out the worst in people, making them either self-indulgent or self-righteous. Some Catholics seem to be blasé about truth and tend towards irrational sentimentalism or anti-intellectual hippie-style self-indulgence, along the lines of, if it feels good, it must be right, and in any case it is true for me. Who are you to tell me different? Everyone has a right to their own opinion. This is very much the outlook of Raphael's mother. I've met many other such people in progressive Roman Catholic circles, and more recently and tragically in the Ukrainian Greek Catholic parish which I used to attend habitually, but now no more. Other Catholics are authoritarian and narrow in their thinking. They only use reason to rationalise predetermined positions and never to explore or deepen their understanding of the faith. Such people are terrified of doubt or uncertainty. For such people, obedience is the only real virtue. Once one believes that the Catholic faith is true, one completely discharges one's religious obligation by handing over one's conscience and judgment to the hierarchy, and in particular the Vatican and the Pope of Rome. Raphael told me of a friend of his, whom I met once, Matthew, we'll say. Raphael used to like and respect Matthew as someone with a good intellect. But more recently Matthew had given Raphael the impression that he thought that the human intellect was little more than a plaything, something which one could amuse oneself by exercising, but not a worthwhile tool to disclose what was true. Only faith, more accurately, uncritical acceptance of the Catholic magisterium in all of its particulars, could determine truth. Matthew went to seminary, and Raphael assumes that he is now a priest. Raphael also told me of the Dominican priest who was the chaplain for Catholic students at his university. I met this man once myself, and fell out with him quite quickly, as he played the "I am a priest, therefore I know better than you" card. On one occasion Raphael had asked him a probing question, and the priest had answered with a party-line response. But Raphael had thought that he saw fear in the priest's eyes, as if the man knew deep inside that the answer he was giving was not adequate, perhaps even false, and was afraid of what this meant for the substance of his entire belief system. On another occasion, Raphael put forward one of my ideas which he had found interesting to a priest, only to have it dismissed out of hand as not worthy of consideration. Raphael feels that he does not really belong in the church, as he finds the attitudes which are common there repellent. Moreover, he found that professing to be a Catholic caused him to be ostracised by secular folk, as they assumed that he bought into the negative outlook and inhuman image which the contemporary church projects, basically anti-women, anti-homosexual, anti-sex, anti-euthanasia, and so on. Raphael finds that the practice of Catholicism is not in any way attractive or appealing. He said that he had found the Novus Ordo Roman liturgy as performed at Farnborough Abbey something of an exception. It strikes me that any organisation which manages to so thoroughly disillusion two such open-hearted, decent and intelligent young men does not deserve to survive. I could tell my own tales of knockdowns and scandals which I have personally experienced. If I wasn't as bloody-minded as in fact I am, I would have given up on Catholicism many years ago. These days, I'm driving an hour every Sunday to go to church at the Birmingham Oratory, where a semblance of authentic Catholicism remains, though the preaching does tend towards mind-numbing conservatism.